5:30. We're trying this new time, 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. A new slot of time for us for You Change the World. So we are on LinkedIn, we are on Facebook, we are on YouTube, and we are also on the podcast that you can find now on Apple and on the Microsoft stores and live. So of course it's recording, and for those who cannot stay until the end or anything, you can find it in the profile of mine, especially in LinkedIn, and you'll see the recording. So that's the housekeeping. I would like to also add another point of housekeeping is to please subscribe on YouTube. It's important that subscribers, add, because it's still a new YouTube channel. And when new things are new, as you know, by just subscribing, you're also sponsoring, because you make that YouTube channel possible and you make it grow. So please subscribe if you like what you hear, what you see. Please subscribe. So today we have a very special guest. I think we have always a special guest, but he's a really special guest. And Pierre Gervois is an artist of the 21st century, I call him. And I'm going to ask him a very embarrassing question, is to introduce himself.
Okay, thank you for having me, Andre. It's always a pleasure to be with you on your podcast. So I'm a crypto poet. So what is a crypto poet? So I'm writing poetry. So I'm using words. I'm playing with words and putting words in different position on on a piece of paper, and now it's done on a computer. And instead of having the words printed on a piece of paper or on a book, the words are under an NFT format. NFT, non-fungible token, means it's on the blockchain. So everything's digital. So my work is very similar to what poets have done for thousands of years. Poetry has been probably one of the oldest art form. And now it's on the blockchain. It's forever on the blockchain.
Yes.
So we're putting poetry to the next level. It's poetry 2.0.
Right. Fantastic. So I think I want to further translate a little bit. I think those pieces of art, right, first of all, are in that space because that space becomes accessible by almost everybody, but it has also some kind of a protection for your creation, right? That because it's in the blockchain, you are, as the artist, and the piece of art itself, protected. There is need like a real estate a deed, or for a picture, a certification of authenticity, right? What does it do about that?
Yes. So one of the first industry to embrace the blockchain technology and the NFT has been the art industry. Artists immediately saw the potential of blockchain and NFT and crypto for several reasons. And it was crypto was really created for finance purposes. Bitcoin is a currency. It was created by people in the finance industry. They wanted to create a new currency. And artists saw a lot of potential here beyond just the pure financial aspect of cryptocurrencies. An NFT on the blockchain, it's something that cannot be changed or modified by anybody.
Right.
When you're putting a digital token, it's a very complex and very pedantic word to say.
Right.
You're putting a JPEG image or a piece of video on the blockchain. So it's recorded and you know exactly who made it and when, and it's forever. So you can track down the provenance of a digital
Right.
artwork.
Right.
And in like 50 years or 100 years, if this piece is sold or transferred to a new collector,
Right.
we can always track the provenance. And another part that is equally important and maybe better for artists is the concept of royalties. So when a collector who acquired a piece from the artist on the primary market wants to resell it to another collector, there is a system that's completely automated. We have nothing to do. that there is a certain amount of royalty. Typically, it's in the range of 10%, 15%, and the artist can choose that. And when the second collector purchases from the first collector, automatically the blockchain is going to send directly to the artist his or her royalty. So that's the beauty of it. And sometimes you receive an amount of money on your crypto wallet, say, oh, what is that? And you realize that there was a secondary sale, and without doing anything you get some money. So that's really something important.
But I want to go back to Pierre Gervois. Okay, thank you for that. It's giving just an introduction to this. If you want to know more, just Google NFT, blockchain, crypto art. I don't know, cryptocurrency. But NFT is a fast-growing, creative space where for artists like Pierre, and it's fascinating. But what fascinates me even more, as you know, I'm more about people than I am about objects, or even especially virtual objects. I would love to talk about you, Pierre, a little bit, because, I think I asked you that question one time too, is I'm interested in the impact that things have, right? People see a piece of art and they want to acquire it, to collect it. Just that mindset, if you could share with me. You were familiar with that before crypto existed and this whole space existed, because you were an artist from the day you were born.
Yes, so you're talking about the impact aspect?
No, I'm talking about what changed for you as a creative person. First of all, what did you do before this existed in your creativity? Was it on paper, on canvas?
So I started, I was a painter. So I started painting in 1988. So that's 33 years ago. So I was doing drawing, I was doing painting for all these years.
Right.
And I thought that, and because of my education, I was told that being an artist was not something worthy. And so I didn't told anybody. So I painted hundreds of canvas and drawings and literally never told anybody I was an artist. And I had a lot of different jobs. I did different things that was not very good. And about 18 months ago, I NFT technology I showed one of my pieces for the first time, and my life changed. So what I'm doing now on crypto art, it's exactly the same thing I used to do using painting on canvas. So I was writing words on a canvas. I was doing exactly the same thing. So what I do, the artistic intent, my work, it's exactly the same. Okay. Now I'm using a new technology that gives a much greater fluidity to reach out to more people, to talk with collectors, and I feel absolutely blessed and incredibly grateful to collectors who purchase my work, to artists who welcome me in this community. So the technology was essential for me to be able to show who I was publicly.
Okay, that's good. It gives us another insight. We have always a short period of time for us to go and cover lots of things. So thank you. I take a sample of that, and thank you. If people want you to elaborate, you can use the chat space over here to ask your questions or express your comments. Please do that. We cannot respond to it, unfortunately. It's still a limitation in those platforms that we cannot respond to your chats, but we can respond, Pierre and I, as we are speaking now live, to whatever you want to say or what you want to ask. Okay, so do that using the chat. There's another way too, which I don't know if I would do it today, but I can invite you to do this. If you want to send me an email at andre@andrepolitzer.com and tell me that you want that you want to join in the studio for a reason or another, I invite now from about a few weeks ago people to join us in the studio, because it takes another kind of dimension when you want to, if really the subject is captivating you and you want to say something more than a chat. So then, of course, you can do that, and I'll admit you when I see you coming in, and then you can stay with us for a few minutes and make your point or ask Pierre questions. and I'll be happy to open the microphone to you. Okay, so that's another thing I wanted to mention. But going back to Pierre, it's interesting that you said what you said. You transferred a little bit all this tangible, touchable, and that's what intrigues me in this. And not on, I will be very frank. It's not only intriguing me, and Pierre is a rising star, really, in what he does. He's a little bit humble, but I will let you know that I want you to know that I see this happening, and with really attention, that he's getting more and more traction and is more visible. And I'll ask him maybe at the end a little bit where he can be seen, and the upcoming events where you can see exhibitions, because this is definitely the same space as the artistic space. So do not hesitate, right, to contact me or Pierre after this live event if you want to know more. But I just want to let you know that. But again, the chat or an email could help you get any more clarity that you want to have. So back to this point of creativity and my fear. My fear of the virtual world is, in fact, a big lack or a big gap I feel myself when I see Metaverse coming up, especially. This is a world that fascinates me, of course, because it's fiction, or looks like. And I understand that a 15 years old to a 24 years old, what we call Generation Z, Y, and X, and X no, because it's older, but at least General Z, right? That they are interested to do almost everything in that space. In fact, recently, I coached someone who I helped presenting something to a client that was about transactioning on Metaverse, ATM machines, going to the post office, going to the grocery store, right? All of this graphically available to you, and you can be in your world and in your imagination and do things that are tangible because they are transactions. But at the end of the day, right? For me, art is craftsmanship. It's your hand being at the end of your mind and your creativity, going on the paper, going on a stone, or going on wood. It's your hand doing a chair, doing a beautiful piece of jewelry. For me, craftsmanship is fascinating for that. I watch someone, for example, working on the watch, right? And pushing this little thing in the watch that will be like a heartbeat. And the watch is starting to for me, it's magical. When I see artists and craftsmen working on craftsmanship, this is, on leather, on all this material. And now we are transported into a world where we can't touch nothing. We can only maybe see and read, because you're writing words. But I'm missing the tangible side of it.
This is a very good question, Andre. Now, just think about a music composer. The composer is going to take a pen, a piece of paper with some lines, and he's going to create music, and he's going to write music. But in the end of the day, what's important, it's not the physicality of the piece of the music sheet. It's the music you hear, and the intangible. And you're going to holding in your hands a physical object. You keep in mind the emotion that you got while listening to something that's completely non-physical and intangible. So crypto art is the same thing. We're removing the burden of physicality. A painting, a canvas, it's a physical object. But what matters really, that's the emotion we get from this artwork.
Okay. I buy that. I really like that. The emotional is something I always like.
And to continue, if you allow me, about when you're talking about craftsmanship, and you're absolutely right, and about me and all my other fellow crypto artists, I can tell you that the amount of work and craftsmanship we're putting on our crypto art is exactly the same than when we're doing physical work. I am spending the same amount of work in front of a computer and trying to put words in different positions. I mean, this is the same hard work. And if I was spending 2 weeks to work on a 3-line text, 3 years ago, I'm also going to spend the same amount of work every night on my computer trying to do something until I like it and I think it's good, or maybe it will go nowhere and I will trash it. So we're spending the same amount of hard work and craftsmanship in the digital space.
Okay.
So NFT artists are not like a bunch of lazy people clicking.
No.
We're working hard.
No. I'm thinking about senses. We have 5 senses, right? So the sense of smell, the sense of touching, the sense of all those senses that hearing, like the music you said. And I think your creativity use all your senses and beyond your senses, because you're creative, you're an artist. So that's what we see as the result of what you do in a digital form. I get it. And in fact, now I understand it. And in fact, I appreciate it because it has to do with emotion. So because it has to do with emotion, did you get any feedback that surprised you from people that like what you do?
Yes, I mean, I am still in shock to see that people get an emotion with my work. I mean, I am so unbelievably honored. I mean, and I tell them to all my collectors, I really genuinely thank them. And when people do nice comment about my work on social media, I really, I still don't realize it, because from my perspective, my job is to create words.
Yes.
That's what I do. And I have no way to know if it will resonate with the audience. So I just have absolutely no way. And there are some PCs that, well, don't work. So I create something, I think it's good, but well, it doesn't resonate that much. And some PCs, they sell out immediately. And I never know in advance. I made some PCs that are going really to work, some other series that are not working. And I just absolutely no way to know in advance. I try to guess, but I have no idea. And it's not my job to have ideas.
No, exactly. No,
I'm just producing art. That's the only thing I am doing. And I say thank you when somebody likes it.
It's a little bit like walking in the street and expressing yourself for who you are, and it shows something about your mind and your creativity in the words that you create, in the way you place those words, and in the way they show in this piece of art, and people can see it and appreciate it, and there is this emotion that is created because of what you do, but there is no intention behind it. I reframe it a little bit what you said, because
there is absolutely no intention. I mean, there is no intention of anything.
Right.
I mean, an artist creates art for the sake of art because he has to do it. I think we're asking way too much to artists. We're asking them to solve world problems, to help people. And I mean, it's not my job. My job.
No, it's not your job. But in 100 years, right? In a century from now, when we'll see the whole gallery of Pierre Gervois' work, and you've got all the reviews and the critics, and not even the reviews and the critics, the people who are walking in the exhibition and look at your work, what do they say? What do they feel?
I mean, I have absolutely no idea.
No idea.
I have absolutely no idea.
That's a fantastic thing, right?
I'm like a witness of society around me. And I think it's the case for many artists. We're the witness, and we're describing the world around us as we see it, using music or words or sculpture or poetry. And we're like journalists. We're documenting the world around me. That would be my best description of the job of an artist, just to document our society. And that's it.
Okay. Now, if it's words, those words mean something?
What do you mean exactly?
Well, let's take an example, right? One of your pieces has a word in there. Tell me one word that is that you can find in one of your NTCs. A word, not a letter. A word.
I use the word social status frequently in my work.
Okay, social status. Why?
Because I'm kind of obsessed by social class and social mobility. I
Okay,
think it's a very taboo topic. And I think also artists, one of the job of artists, and I was like, I contradict myself when I say that artist has no role. I think one of the role of artists is to explore taboo topics in our society that make
right.
us uncomfortable. And it's the fun part. So when we're thinking about what is a taboo topic, we can think about sex, drug, violence, but it's not really taboo anymore. I mean, nobody's shocked by somebody using drug. I mean, okay, everybody, a lot of people are doing it, and we're not shocked anymore. But talking about social class, talking about our social humiliations, because we don't have the social status we'd love to have.
Right.
Talking about how we're jealous of other people that have a bigger car than us, that have a watch with more gold and more diamonds than our
We got
poor
it. We
steel
got it.
watch. We're suffering about that, but we're not going to say it because it's really it's
Taboo.
something we're not proud of. So I like to explore all this, the tension between different social classes. That's one of my really recurrent topics.
Okay, that talks tons. It's very interesting. I understand, and I think everybody understands. It's just interesting also because I know you're not looking and you do not have any goal to have an impact, but you're communicating. You're communicating what you just said. You're communicating, and communication has another end at the other side. So let me ask you: there is exhibitions of NTCs, right?
Of NFTs, yes.
NFT, sorry. There is
Yes.
exhibitions of that. So where are they? How does it work, an exhibition of NFTs?
So first of all, you can find NFTs. There are a lot of different websites, we call marketplaces, where you can show, buy, and trade NFTs. So for example, I'm just going to give some names. You have OpenSea, that is one of the biggest marketplace for NFT. You have a Foundation, Super Rare, Known Origin. There are many of them.
Okay.
So that's the first place on your computer when you can see, buy, and exchange NFTs. And now a lot of brick and mortar art galleries are now switching to digital, and they're installing LED screens, or they started putting like a big TV screen, and now there's a new generation of high resolution screens inside the brick and mortar galleries, and they're doing now exhibitions of crypto art in brick and mortar galleries, the same way they used to hang a canvas. And I had my first in real life exhibition in a gallery in New York City, and I was so proud of being able to see my work in a prestigious gallery. That was really, I was so blessed to see that. And one of the most interesting things is the extraordinary fluidity. I think the word really to remember to understand crypto art is fluidity.
Yes.
Let's say you're a gallerist and you want to do an exhibition. You might have artists from all over the world. So you're going to ask them to ship a canvas or a physical object to your gallery. It's going to cost a lot of money because you need to protect the artwork, to put a crate around it, to ship it, to go through the customs. So this is a complicated, this is an expensive thing to do. You're going to have the installation, spend 1 week to do the installation, then to ship back to the artist. So it's not fluid. It's a costly, complicated process. Now, if in your gallery you have just screens and you want to do an exhibition, in 1 hour you do the exhibition. Just change the images on the screen, and boom, that's it. So this is quite extraordinary. And fluidity is not just a word. It's essential because you can showcase much more artists that you would do with a physical
and you can certainly probably play also with the the way you display those screens.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
my question is, did you go to one of your exhibitions?
Yes, I went. It was in New York City. I went,
So
and I mean,
did you meet the people there?
I absolutely. I mean, I was really happy. I could meet some fellow artists. I met some of my collectors
That's what
of
I mean.
previous
So the
pieces.
collectors, what did they say?
I mean, we just. I mean, it was like it was like a child's dream.
Right.
So you're in a place and people like recognize you by your work. They say, "Oh, you're Pierre. I collect one of your pieces." And
Yes.
thank you. I really am so happy. Thank you so much for being a collector. Or people making comments about my work, and I see, yeah, they know my body of work. They know who I am, what I do. And I was like, oh my God, this is
Right.
completely unbelievable.
No, I love that. I love the fact that you can also meet the artist in person.
And we have this face-to-face interaction with our friends artists, with the galleries, with collectors. So yeah, of course, that's important to me.
No, I was curious to ask you if you heard something from one of those collectors telling you something about what their emotion was. Or
yes, of course, they're telling me emotions about work.
Give
yes,
me one example.
I mean, that's a good question. And I'm saying that's a good question when I don't know what to answer. To give me the time to think about the answer.
Something could have been meaningful that someone told you.
I mean, it's just. I mean, generally, people who saw my art and love it for they tell me, "Oh, I got an emotion."
Yeah.
They don't necessarily like
describing it
much more detail. They say, I really got an emotion.
Okay.
When I just watched your piece. I felt something.
Okay.
And it made me incredibly proud, and really I profusely sang them, and I'm like, I don't know what to say apart from thank you so much, because I didn't want to create an emotion. I'm just creating an artwork.
No, that's fine. Yeah, no, that's fine.
I don't control what's going to happen.
We have only 3 minutes left, so I wanted to ask you about your documentaries and what you do with the visual of. You do more than.
Yes, I mean, so it's another part of what I do. So I produce documentary films and TV shows that are made by a very talented documentary filmmaker. Her name is Christelle Bois. She's super talented documentary filmmaker, and I produce this film and TV series. So one of the series we produce that's called The Story of Art in America will be now broadcasted on national television on Ovation TV starting on October 10th for the premiere. So it's a show that's exploring art practice in the United States, all across the country, in small cities, large cities. And the film director is letting artists speak themselves about their art practice, whether they're musicians, painters, poets, sculptors, and they tell in their own word what it is to be an artist. And I'm really proud to produce this show.
Okay, no, that's generous that you produce that and you create more space and more visibility to people that are creative like you are. That's a great thing. So you go much beyond your own creativity. You also want to expose and make other people visible, and then you use also broadcasting for that. So I wanted to add that point so that people get to know you a little bit. So where can they find you? That's because we're finishing. And
so I am represented by a crypto poetry gallery that is called the Verse. So twice the word verse. So it's called the Verse.
Right.
So you check out on Google the Verse. And I'm one of the crypto poets represented here. Okay. And I feel really privileged to be represented by this prestigious gallery. They're doing a lot of exhibitions, and I mean, I am constantly speechless. I'm not going to play, oh yeah, everything's great, and I am every day speechless of what is happening to me, and I'm saying thank you to everybody. for
Yes.
what I'm doing right now.
That's fantastic. And what's unique about all of this is that you get the person who's called Pierre Gervois with his mind, with his creativity, who is emotionally touched by all the people that are touched by what he does. So that's really a love story with the unknown in the virtual world. But the documentaries are giving me also a sense of, a sense of generosity. And that's where you want it or you don't want it. When you do a documentary, Pierre, and it's broadcasted and it's about art in America, in the smallest cities, and we're going to discover artists wherever they are that we never heard of, thanks to your documentary. Well, that's an impact that you have.
And thanks to the talent of the documentary filmmaker, Chris Delbois.
Krista, but that's how you change the world, and that's why, I invited you here, and I thank you for coming, and I hope to see you again.
My pleasure.
I like everything you do and who you are, and I really encourage you to continue and to grow, and that's a blessing also.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be on your show, Andre, and you're doing amazing things to help people. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Pierre. And thank you, everybody, and see you maybe next week. I don't know, I'm not sure, but at least the week after. And have a wonderful day and a wonderful evening. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, Pierre.